welcome to Trading Lounge and the indices, and starting with the S&P here. So this is one way I'd like to just view this current move down from the Fed's comments as a top of wave 3 here and wave 4 here. And the reason for this is that when I'm looking at Apple, I'm still looking for a wave 4 here, and it's the same with Amazon as well. So there are stocks that we're still looking at wave 4s here. So I just wanted to sort of mention that. Now, of course, what we'll be doing is looking at further development of this market. If this particular move that's down here turns into a 5-wave move down here, which we're going to have a look at in a moment. If we look at this as a 5-wave move here and we get 5 waves here, then we're going to get an ABC pattern, and then we're going to get another 5 down. So we don't know if we've got 5 waves down here. Now it looks scary beary coming down here, I get it, and we're going to have a look at that. So we'll have a close look at the situation of having this wave 5 in place here with wave 5 here of wave 3 here, and then that would leave us, well, wave 4s could pull back to the wave 4 one lesser degree, but normally I find that they're sort of up somewhat here as well as they come into the deeper support sort of zone here somewhere. So we'll look at that. So first up, just once again, just looking at this as a possible wave 4, this line here would be the 38.2%, because wave 1 and 2 is pretty clear here, right? Some of this is a little bit messy and people can have it counted differently. So but that wave 2 low is clear. That would be the 38.2% at that point. Okay, that said, and I'll leave that there, we'll go in and have a look at the more scary bearish picture here, and this is it here. As you know, we've been counting up as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, the fourth wave, and just trying to figure out, you know, I've just been doing my best to work this up here. I understood that 6,000 would be a sticky number, and coming into Christmas we'll also see lower volumes as well, and then of course we've got the Fed's comments there as well. Now the 38.2% and the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree is way down here, so that's pretty scary. But as always, I'll just let that float there. The best thing to do is that is just to count the waves as they, you know, as they unfold. And like I said, the first step to the downside would be looking at 5 waves coming down. If we get 5 waves, well, then we'll get another 5 waves. So this is it here, a little bit sort of clearer here on the in this case. I've got this counted a little bit differently here. So as you can see so far, we only have 3 waves down. Now we could get 5 waves down, and it does make a nice third wave down here, no doubt about that. So we're going to go in and have a look at this and get some sort of understanding of it. At the same time, we could also see that, you know, in this group 2 area here, there's going to be support in this area. So yeah, that's where we're likely to see, you know, if we were going to get 5 waves down, wrong tool. If we're going to get 5 waves down here, it'll be something, you know, like this here, you know, and then if that's the case, we get an ABC and then we'll come down again. Now, is it possible at this point here to view this as the A wave at this point and the B wave as a B wave rally at this point, and then a C wave down here? Now we could come anywhere down here, so we don't pay any too much attention to where I've got this. As I say, this is support 1 area here, and all of this through here is support 2. So we'll see that. Now let's go in further and have a look at this move to the downside. So we're on 5Ks here. Let me just, obviously it's come down pretty fast here, so we need to look at this here. We're just going to do our best to count this down here. We talked about the A wave. The 5/8 will be a good number to look at this at here for the next bit of support here. But I just want to start from the top here. Okay, so we could we could always count 5 waves down here as wave 1, but I'm just putting a bigger wave 1 here now. It's a bit difficult to count this down as 5 waves. It's better to count down, well, you could go an A wave here, then an A, B, and C here, or you could go an A, B, C, and then a B wave and a C wave here. But as an ABC for wave 2 over here, I think that makes the best sense. And then we can count this down as 5 waves of 1 and 2 here. And then, of course, in here as 1 and 2 in here, we can start sort of building that case here, which I have done. And we're going to go in and have a bit of a look at that. So I think we start to sort of see sort of some support come in around that 5/8 area here. So as 1 and 2 here, and looking down for wave 3 and 4 and coming down for wave 5. So based on that, we're going to go from 5,000 to 1,000 here. And picking it up from over here, this wave 2 here, and we were just talking about this wave 3 coming down here. I'll need to probably go into the intraday a little bit more here and look at this, but so we've got wave 2 up here, and we've got blue wave 1 and blue wave 2 here. So I'm just going to open it up like this. It's still a bit hard to see in here, so we're going to go in again and sort this out a bit. So we don't need that there for the time being, but we do need these here. So these will be here. We were considering this 5/8 here. 5/9 is also important there. It had a little retest there. And yeah, so something, I have to go in closer and have a bit of a look at that, so we'll do that, but we'll just get this here. So you're kind of getting the idea of piecing this together here, and this would be the wave A down here at this stage here, and then we could put a wave B back over here for this, and so on. So that's sort of where we are at the moment. So we'll go in and we'll pick it up from this wave 2 here on the, so we're on 1,000 ticks, and now we'll go into 100 ticks and 100 ticks. So we've got this wave 2 up here, right? So we want to be going down to wave 3 here. I'll just look at this in a moment, but I'll bring this down here. We may put wave 4 here. So let me just go in here and look at this. So we've got this wave 2. So we're looking for, this is blue wave 2, which is minute wave 2, so we're looking down to minute wave 3 here. We've got to figure out if it's here or here, so I'll just do that now. And we need 5 waves down there. So I have this wave 1 and 2 here. So if we just have a closer look at this here, I know I'm moving a little bit quickly, but 1 and 2 here, that kind of makes the best sense. And then we've got this between 1, 2, and 3 and 4 here. We're looking at 1, 2, and then 1 and 2 in here. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for this third wave here, and then the fourth wave, and then the fifth wave. Now on this fifth wave here, right, on this on this fifth wave of the third here, I could also make that wave 1 here and bring in not this wave 2 here, but make that wave 4 here wave 2 if I have to extend it down further. Okay, so if it's going to have some sort of much bigger third wave come down, well then all of this would be wave 1 and 2 and not 3 here in this case. So in that instance here, so this would be 1 and 2 here, and then I'd bring it down further. But from this wave 3 and 4 here, I've got 1 and 2, and then 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 coming down here. So we could put that wave 5 in here, which would be that wave 5 of this wave 5 of this wave 5. So I'm just going to bring that into here, and we can look at this here and this here. This would be 1 and 2. I can see the 5 waves here, so that's cool. That will be there, so that's there. I'll look at this as wave 4 here, and then we've got to figure out wave 5 here. So I won't bore you to death on that, but basically this 5/8 here will be a little bit of a brick wall, so that's where we can expect that to come in. And that move there will end up being this wave 3 here for this, and then we can look at wave 4. Wave 4 obviously can pull back to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree, but sometimes it's always down a bit depending on the pressure, and then we'll see wave 5 come down here further, into a further low over here, or just put it at the 5.7 here, but 5.650 is the lower end of group 2, all of that sort of stuff. So we'll see how that travels, but that's basically, in a bit of a nutshell, we could tweak it later, but that's basically the trend coming down from this wave, from this let me just get in a bit more data here. 1000. Still not, it doesn't matter, from that wave 2 here down to wave 3 and then 4 and 5. Now I could extend that down further. Like I say, this 5.8 is going to offer some pretty good support here, and I could pretty much put this here, because the funny thing is, it's not funny, but this from wave 2 to wave 3 here has got the extension in it, so the length of wave 1 over here and the length of wave 5 could be roughly the same as well, so we could be pretty close to this here. But I like number 8, it's the third strongest number, 1, 5, 8 and then 3, so we should start to see 4s and 5s play out around this area here. And just to sort of bring in the trading levels a little bit here, is that after 8 is 5, so that's the next strongest number to the downside. But we've got, when we talk about 8, we talk about group 2, so that will be 56.50 here, and then the 72 in here, which will be 572 here. So we can just give that a bit of color there, just to give it a little bit of definition in this space here. So what I'm trying to say here is that from the 8 down to the 650 here is minor group 2, and we should see the market gain support into this area. I won't leave it here because it'll make me think that that's some sort of retracement level at that point, but just to let you know, that's group 2 area here, and this is where it should slow down there. So all of that said, just going back to the daily chart to have a bit of a look at that. So what we were talking about just then was looking down for 5 waves into this group 2 area here. I'm going to remove that there. That's minor group 2, 650, 72 and the 800 here. And we should see, looking at those 5 waves move down. If we get those 5 waves, then we'll have a correction, a corrective rally. May or may not retest the 6,000, and then we'll get another 5 waves down. This 5 waves down here, if it's going to be a wave C here, then it's going to be on a bit of an angle like this here. If it's going to be a wave 3 to the downside, if this is going to be a much bigger bearish pattern coming in here, then this particular move here is going to be sharp, just as sharp as wave A here. But wave A is normally the sharpest and the scariest, and it takes out stops and all those sorts of things, and bit of a wipeout really. So we'll see the angle of this will help us also verify if we're in a wave C or a wave 3 coming to the downside here. So that's something else in the bigger picture. So the next step along the way is that we're coming into support within minor group 2 here, and we'll see if we get those 5 waves, which seems to be the case. So that's where we are at that point. Now, I've spent a bit of time on the S&P, so I don't need to do that on the NASDAQ, but it'll be the same thing for the top here. And then we're looking at we're looking for this low of wave 3 here. We still need wave 4. The 21,000 is a nice number to start to look at some bounces around. I mean, the interesting thing with this is that we have noted some of the Asian markets, the Australian market, for example, having a top in place already, this wave 3 up here, which started before these other markets here. So let's see if we get these 5 waves here, and then we'll know where we are. We'll get some sort of ABC pattern back to the upside here. The DAX here, we've been looking at the DAX in 2 ways yesterday. We were looking at it as wave 4 here as 1, 2, 3, 4, and I know there's a bit of an overlap here, and then going up as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. We're also looking at it in terms of as a wave 4 here, and this is at the 20,000 here, is roughly the 38.2% retracement level. So we need to look at it in both ways, and Yeah, but if we get 5 waves down into the S&P, well, then the DAX is going to follow that down. So it's probably likely to be this one here, but we're going to work through the case. So I'm just going to cut straight through to the 1000 where we were yesterday. So we had the top up here as wave 3 or a alternative as wave 5. And here, what we've got so far is we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as the A wave and the B wave, and this would be the C wave down here because the 38.2% was around this number here. And I haven't quite pulled all this apart. That's 1, 2, that's fine. That's 1, 2, that will be, that could be 3, 4. Let me just mull that over a bit. 1, 2, lost the plot there. 1, 2. That would have to be 1, 2, 1, 2, so that's still not going to be there, is it? So let me just label that a bit in there for the sake of it. That will be 1 and 2 here. I mean, obviously I'll need to, if it's going to be bearish, I'll need to bring that up further. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, okay, I'm onto it. Yeah, so if it's more bearish, I'll make it a bigger picture for a bigger, larger degree here of, instead of using these little dudes here, I'll use larger labeling here. But basically, so it's possible that this could be a wave 4 here, and if that's not the case, then we'll need to look at the top being in place here. And if it is the top in place, then we'll need to look at all this as wave 1 and 2 here, and then we'll need to look at this as coming down for 3, 4 and 5 down here for this. So that's sort of where we are at the moment with this. The good news about this, though, is that if we do get 5 waves down, right, then if we get 5 waves down, we're going to get a 3-wave counter trend. And if we get the 3-wave counter trend, then we can short this next leg down here. So we can get into this leg. So yeah, if we get the 5 waves here, then fantastic, and we can use this large number here as well for all of this. This group 2 here, this 65, 72 and 8 here is minor group 2. That will be the support area here. This number here, be careful about trading around large numbers because they attract large orders, and on both sides, on buying and selling and this and that, and it'll get a bit sort of a bit weird in there. Coming over to the FTSE, we were looking at this in 2 different ways. We were looking at it, we'll look at the bullish count first. It's having wave 3 here and 4 here as an ABC pattern here, and then having wave 1 here with an ABC for wave 2. I don't like the wave 2 because it's bigger than wave 1 still, and then wave 1 up here and then pulling back for wave 2 here. That's possible, and would for that to work, would just basically have to stick that under there. The other case here is looking at this, the top here is wave 3, and then looking at this here as the A wave here, and then a smaller A wave here, whoops a daisy, smaller B wave here, and then a C wave up here for this B wave here, which we were looking at yesterday, and then down here for wave 4 coming back down here as wave C of 4 here. So I won't go to the intraday here, but it'll be the same as the other markets. So this is a little bit weird. If it's going to follow the DAX, which it can do, then we'll end up having this down to here. We're going to have another move coming back up as a B wave, and then a C wave to come down if it's going to follow the rest of the world. So it's going to be like that. So it's even going to be more complicated here for this. I don't like trading into large numbers, so we're just going to leave this as is. And then we come to the Australian market, and we've been looking at the Australian market because this top was in here. This is a daily chart, so this has been a top here since the 3rd of December here. So this is way earlier than the other markets, From wave 4 here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a bit of overlap here. But as I mentioned, I've seen the overlap on this degree of structure in this market before, and this is a CFD product here, so you've got the futures and the cash playing out on this. So this move down here as this wave 4 could pull back to this wave 4 over here, that would be the sort of thing. And also too with this as well, it's a bit like the classic trading levels pattern where we have the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, and then we're looking for some sort of ABC pattern here, and then we go up again from that point. That's what I'm sort of thinking about. And yeah, but one step at a time. But that's basically what this is at this in the bigger picture here. and we need to, you know, work this down here. It's going to be a little bit different from the other markets, but because it started much earlier. And I'll just see where we're up to on the hourly, not the hourly chart, but what's the name. So yesterday we were looking for, we had this as the A wave here, and we're looking for the B wave and then a C wave up here somewhere, but we didn't really get up here for this, so that's we didn't really get to that target. So it may make me think about this a little bit differently here. So I've counted this down here as 5 waves to here as 1, and we're looking for wave 2 here, but I don't think that's going to give me, I don't think that's right, because the third wave down here is not going to give me a length that's longer than this to the bottom down here. So in this instance, we're going to have to look at this down here as being support down here, as a possible A wave down here somewhere with a bounce for a B wave in line. It will start to pull, it'll start to pull this market will start to pull in line with the other markets. Now it's been doing its own thing, but it will pull in line. So what I'm going to have to do here is that I'm going to have to look at this a little bit differently. I'm going to have to put sort of wave 1 up here for this, and this wave 2 back up here, and then I'm going to have to look at this a little bit differently and look at wave 1 here and 2 over here for this, move it down in this way here. And yeah, so I'll probably need to look at this here just by the by as probably onto the 8,100 here as the third wave and fourth wave up here, and then down for the fifth wave here on top. Well, be below that eventually, but it'll be that 8,000 that will be that support at that point. And so that means that we'll need to look at this here as I'll need to make that, I'll just move these out of the way, and I'll need to look at this as a wave 4 here and a wave 5 here. So I'll have, this didn't really finish off very nicely here for me, so I'll have to look at it something like this, a wave 4 and wave 5 at this point, and then this wave 4 over here for that. So just to trace this out a little bit, we're going to end up coming down here somewhere. When the NASDAQ is at the 21,000, it's going to bounce, and when the S&P gets at 5,800 or a bit below that, that's going to bounce and give those markets a wave 4. And then we're going to see a wave 5 come down at this point, and then we're going to see another ABC pattern come down, and then we're going to see this move come down here further at that point. So it's going to look a little bit like this here, and that would tune it in with the US markets as well, which would be the right thing at that point in time. So that's it, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Much appreciated. Cheers.